For exercise 6, we're given the equation for supply, the equation for the demand, and we are asked to find the equilibrium. Equilibrium is when the supply meets the demand. That is, since those two equations represent a line, find the common point. Find the P and Q that satisfy both equations. Solve the system of equations in any of that wording. So I will go, instead of the first equation, I will go to the second one just because it has easier coefficients, and I'll solve there for Q. So I will go to 10Q plus 20P is equal with 1200. Now we'll start solving for Q. So I'll get 10Q is equal with 1200 minus 20P. Now when I divide by 10, I get Q is equal with 120 minus 2P. Then I will use this to go to the first equation and substitute Q. So I'll have 20 times 120 minus 2P minus 40P is equal with 800. Folding out the multiplication gives us 2400 minus 40P minus 40P is equal with 800. That in terms gives us minus 80P is equal with minus 1600. And then P will be minus 1600 over minus 80, 20, which in turn brings us to Q is equal with 120 minus 2 times 20, that is 40, which is equal with 80. And that completes 6. Now, on exercise 8, we are told that a person spends 560,000 on a total of 3 properties. The first property's value is the sum of the other 2 properties, and the second property is 3 times the value of the third property. With that information, we will create 3 equations and then find out how much does each property cost. I will represent the cost of the first property as A, the cost of the second as B, and the cost of the third as C. Now, with that in mind, we are told that the total cost of those properties is 560,000, and hence the sum of those must be equal to that number. We are told that the first property's value is the sum of the other 2, and that gives us the equation that A is equal with B plus C. Lastly, we are told that the second property is thrice the value of the third, that it gives us B is equal with 3C. Now, as before, I will be solving one equation for one variable and then proceeding on substituting to a different equation. The third of those equations is already solved. We have B in terms of C. And the next easiest equation, it is the second. A is equal with B plus C. So I will plug in the third equation into the second and get back that A is now, instead of B plus C, is equal with 3C plus C, which gives us 4C. Now that I have both A and B in terms of C, I can plug it into the first equation and have the equation A plus B plus C to now be 4C plus 3C plus C is equal with 560,000, which gives us that 8C is 560,000, which in terms gives us that C is equal with 70,000. Now I'll have B in terms of C, so B will be 3 times that much, so it'll be 210,000, and then A will be 4 times as much, will be 280,000. That completes exercise 8. The fact that it has 3 variables and 3 equations does not change anything. The process is the same. We pick one variable that we solve for all the other variables for, and then we substitute those equations into the remaining one.